Murder at Midnight.
I was worn out, dead tired. But I kept on walking through the mist. And suddenly I started hearing footsteps behind me. I turned around, and then I saw him. He was walking along slow, dragging his feet, walking as if he couldn't see. His face was all covered with blood. But I knew who it was. It was Miller, the guy I'd killed.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The Dead Come Back.
And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre. Our story by William Morwood will threaten your sanity. Its title, The Dead Come Back.
About 1 o'clock in the morning, on a dark, deserted street, standing in the doorway of a gloomy brownstone house, a man with a wild expression on his face rings the bell desperately. There is no answer, and he rings again. Then...
Hey, Doc Paget.
Why, yes.
The brain doc knows what goes on inside a guy's head.
Well, yes, I'm a psychiatrist.
I gotta talk to you.
It's very late. If you come back tomorrow during office hours...
Now, Doc. Something's been happening to me. Something that's driving me nuts.
I'm sorry, but...
Get inside.
Be careful with that.
It won't go off till I pull a trigger. Better sit down, Doc.
Very well.
Just to make sure we understand each other, I'll put this gun here on the desk. And my watch. We got just half an hour to get everything cleared up.
And then?
And then, I got a guy to kill.
Suppose we start at the beginning. Your name?
Lefty O'Connor.
O'Connor?
So you heard of me, huh?
I'm not sure, but the Tilson murder case.
That's right.
But as I remember
That's right. They decided I was nuts, put me away. But get this straight, Doc.
Yes?
I wasn't ever out of my head, and I ain't now.
I see.
Insanity was something that I cooked up to keep from burning. I played it up all right. Good enough to make monkeys out of the doctors and the jury. But when I got to the nut house, it was different. I didn't have to pretend no more. You know, Doc, some of them whacks act just as sane as you and me. Yeah, I was getting along fine. Till 2 nights ago, when I was called in to see the superintendent. He was a white-haired old guy, named Miller.
Sit down, Lefty. Cigarette?
Thanks, Mr. Miller.
Here you are.
What's that?
This? Just a music box. Plays when you open the lid.
That ain't just a... What are you trying to do to me?
Oh, what do you mean, Lefty? I just offered you
That's the box I kept talking about at the trial. The one old Mrs. Tilson kept her jewels in.
I'm afraid you're mistaken, Lefty.
In a pig's eye. I know what you're trying to do. But I don't remember nothing. Nothing, you hear?
And why does this tune seem to disturb you, sir?
Never mind why. Turn it off.
Yes, of course. Take it easy, Lefty. I called you in here because I want to help you.
You're trying to trick me into admitting I knew what I was doing when I hit old lady.
Nothing of the kind.
Next, you'll be asking me where I hid the jewels. Don't you think I know that routine?
There's no routine here, Lefty.
You're a liar, Mr. Miller. You got me in here to give me the 3rd degree, to try to break me down all over again. Well, you won't do it. Not again. I've had enough.
But Lefty, put down that paperweight.
I didn't have no idea of escaping when I hit him, Doc. I was just scared. I was scared of what would happen if he kept after me. When I found a gun in his desk drawer, I began making plans fast. I brought him around. I told him exactly what he had to do. We went out, got into his car, started for the gate. Okay, Miller, it's up to you now.
I understand.
Now remember, I'll be lying back here with this gun against your spine.
Evening, Mr. Miller.
Hello, George.
Going out kind of late, aren't you, sir?
Yes. Something unexpected came up.
You wouldn't be smuggling out anyone under that rug and back, sir, huh?
I might.
Yep, looks suspicious. Just the right shape for a man. But I'll take a chance on you, sir. Okay, Charlie. Open up for the super. Okay, open it up. Good night, Mr. Miller.
Turn the left fork here.
Ah, the Ganville Road. I was afraid of this, Lefty. The Tilson Estate's up this way, isn't it?
You're too smart for your own good, Mr. Miller. You can turn off here.
But there's no road.
In under the trees.
All right. What happens now? Do we walk the rest of the way?
One of us does. Get out. You're no use to me anymore.
Let you know. Put that gun away. You can't. You fool. You won't get rid of me this way. You.
I left him there beside his car and started walking. I don't know how long I was at it. Maybe an hour when I hit the outskirts of town. The light was kind of funny. It was different from anything I'd ever seen. It was kind of yellow. Kind of yellow mixed with a mist that was curling up. Maybe I was tired, I don't know. But suddenly I began to hear footsteps behind me. I looked around, and then I saw him. He was walking on the other side of the road, blind, as if he couldn't see where he was going. And his feet were kind of dragging along. His face was covered with blood. But through the blood, I could see that it was him. Miller. I don't know what happened then, Doc. I must have passed out. Because the next thing I knew, people, faces bending over me.
He's coming too, Tom.
Yeah. How are you feeling, chum?
Hey,
He's as white as if he'd seen a ghost.
who are you?
I'm Ruth Mason. This is my brother, Tom.
We live right by. We heard you yell and came running out.
Did you see anyone else?
I know.
On the road?
No. You were lying right in the middle of the road till we pulled you off. What happened? Did a car hit you?
I don't remember.
Well, take his arm. Help him up, Tom.
Okay, sure. Here we go, Mo.
The name is Sims. Johnny Sims. I'm all right.
You look kind of bushed to me.
I've been walking all night. Out of a job, see. And broke.
Well, our house is right over there. You come on in and we'll fix
Thanks.
it.
I gotta keep moving.
What's the rush if you're just looking for a job?
Well, Hey,
Cops coming this way.
Probably looking for that man that escaped from the state hospital.
That's right. They said that.
What? Johnny, what's the matter? You look as if you're going to faint again.
I guess I must be worse than I thought. Look, does that invite still hold?
Oh, of course. Right this way. Something more, Johnny?
No, thanks, Ruth. Couldn't manage another thing. Full up.
Oh, well, then you lie right down on that sofa. That is, if Tom will get off with his paper.
Oh, sure. I was just reading some more about that guy, Lefty O'Connor, that broke out of the asylum. Seems he forced the superintendent to drive him out in a car.
Please, Tom, let's not talk about it. It gives me the creeps to think of anyone like that being loose.
Maybe he ain't so bad.
He's a murderer, Johnny. A homicidal maniac.
How do you know? Maybe the super deserved killing.
The super?
Yeah.
But the paper doesn't say anything about the super being killed.
Well, Ruth said...
I meant the old lady, Mrs. Tilson.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I must have heard. Maybe I just thought...
I'll try the radio. Maybe there's some late news on it. Though you're probably right, Johnny. The super wouldn't stand a chance.
Sure. The way I figured.
What's the matter, Johnny?
Turn that off.
What?
I said turn it off.
Why?
Johnny.
Hey, what gives?
I'm sorry. But I don't like radios.
Oh, it's all right, Johnny. We understand. Now suppose we show you to your room and you take a good long sleep.
I must have slept like a dead man, Doc. It was dark when I woke up. There was nobody in the house. I switched on the lamp and looked at my watch. A few minutes before midnight. I didn't have much time if I wanted to get the jewels and blow town before morning. So I started for the door, but before I reached it, it opened. And standing there, smiling, kind of sad-like, was Miller.
Hello, Lefty. Did you get the jewels?
You! It can't be you. You're dead.
I told you you wouldn't get rid of me so easily.
What do you want with me?
Nothing, Lefty. Just what I wanted before, to help you.
You're lying. You still think you can break me, get me to confess, but I'll show you. I must have hit the lights, Doc, or maybe they were never on, because suddenly the room was all dark. I struck a match. I bent down to look at Miller, make sure that he was really dead this time. And I ain't crazy, Doc. You gotta believe me. But the man lying face up on the floor was Tom Mason.
A dead man who came back. And now, a second victim, as the hands of the clock move inexorably to the witching hour. And yet another.
Murder at midnight.
And now, back to Murder at Midnight. To Lefty O'Connor, sitting in a psychiatrist's office with a gun in front of him, trying to convince the doctor and himself that he is sane.
My hand was shaking so much that the match went out. It was Tom, all right. Tom Mason, dead. But it was better that way than what I'd thought, because it meant that Miller hadn't come back from the grave. I'd probably just imagined I heard him talking to me. I frisked Mason, I got the keys to his car, and went out. It was a little coupe parked in the driveway. I opened the door. I was just getting in when...
Hello, Johnny.
Ruth.
You look a little better than you did before. How do you feel?
Oh, fine.
Oh, that's good. You were sleeping so soundly when I left it. Are you going somewhere?
Well, yeah. There was something I had to do, and, Tom told me I could borrow his car.
Oh, all right. I'll go inside.
No, you can't go in there.
Oh, what do you mean? Why not?
Well, I mean, such a swell night. How about a little drive, Ruth?
But what about your errand?
Well, that'll just take a minute. It'll be swell having you along.
Well, I don't know. I don't suppose Tom will mind.
I'm sure he won't.
Well, then, all right. I guess that's one of the wonderful things about life. You just never know when something completely unexpected will happen.
That's right, baby. You just never know.
Why so quiet, Johnny?
Huh?
You asked me to come driving with you, and I do, and you don't say a thing to me.
What should I be saying?
Well, you might start by telling me something about yourself.
Like I said, I'm just a guy looking for work.
What kind of a job did you have before?
Chauffeur?
That sounds interesting. Did you work around here?
Why?
I just wondered. You seem to know the roads so well.
Listen, baby, let's not talk about me. I'd rather hear about you.
Well, there's not much to tell. I'm 21, fancy-free, and I work for a living. I'm a nurse in a psychiatrist's office.
A what?
Psychiatrist. A doctor who, well, helps people who are disturbed mentally.
Like people who, see things that ain't there?
Oh, yes, he gets a lot of those kind of cases.
What does he do?
Talks to the patients, explains away the hallucination. His name is Dr. Paget, and he's really wonderful. Johnny,
Yeah?
where are we going?
Why, baby?
We've turned off the main road. This leads past the old Tilson mansion.
What's that?
The house where that terrible murder took place about a year ago. It's all boarded up now, of course.
Yeah, that's the job Lefty O'Connor pulled,
Yes.
huh?
Yeah, he was old Mrs. Tilson's chauffeur.
What?
Chauffeur.
Quite a coincidence, ain't it?
Johnny, you're turning in the driveway.
Yeah. See, a couple of nights ago, I broke into this place to sleep. It was just an empty house to me. I didn't know anything about no murder. I left the parcel behind. I want to pick it up.
Oh, I see.
You think I had any other reason for coming here?
No, Johnny.
Sit tight, baby. I'll be back in a minute.
All right, Johnny. Well, why are you taking the keys?
Just to make sure the car stays here, and you with it.
But of course I'll stay.
You better, baby. Or it'll be just too bad. I pulled the board loose from one of the windows, climbed into the old house. It was black as pitch inside, with that musty, shut-in smell. Felt my way along the wall to the stairs, climbed to the second floor. The old lady's room was at the head of the stairs. It wasn't so dark in there. Windows hadn't been boarded, and the moonlight was coming in. And I saw that marble fireplace with a gargoyle in the middle grinning at me. So I picked up the poker and smashed into it. And there, behind where I pushed it past a loose brick, was a paper bag containing the jewels. I looked inside to make sure that everything was safe. Moonlight sparkled on them shiners. And then, Doc, suddenly, out of nowhere it started. That music started. Stop it! Stop it!
Johnny,
Stop
where
it!
are you?
What? Oh, Ruth!
What?
Ruth, get her to stop. Get her to stop.
Get who to stop?
Mrs. Tilson, that tune.
What tune?
You mean you don't hear nothing?
Well, no, Johnny.
But you must. It's gone now.
Johnny, you're shaking all over. Johnny, what's that?
What's what?
Well, they're all over the floor. They look like diamonds, jewels.
Didn't I tell you to stay in the car? What are you doing up here?
I heard noises and you
You were
yelled.
spying on me.
No, I wasn't, Lefty.
What did you call me?
Nothing.
So you guessed it, huh? Okay. I am Lefty O'Connor, and I came back for the jewels. But that information ain't traveling far. Not with you, anyway.
What do you mean? No! Don't touch me!
This is just... Oh, yeah.
Oh!
I was rattled, Doc. The music did it. That and everything else. I left the lying there, and I picked up the jewels and beat it. Started the car fast. It just about hit the main highway when the wheels started acting funny. I stopped and got out to look. It was a flat. My luck had played out. If I took the time to change it, someone might come along, and just then I did hear a car coming. I froze, waiting for it to pass. Instead, it stopped, and...
Hi, Johnny.
Tom Mason!
I got out as soon as I could. Which is the flat?
What? How did you know?
How did I know? Why, you just called me. You told me you couldn't find the tools.
I called you?
Why, yeah. Don't you remember?
No, I don't. I couldn't have.
Of course, it's none of my business, Johnny, but... Look, you've been acting awful funny. I'm beginning to think maybe you ought to go see a doctor. Someone like Doc Padgett that Ruth works for.
There's nothing wrong with me. Nothing.
Okay. Get started with this, Jack. The rest of the tools are under the front seat. I'll get them.
No, wait.
Hey, what's this paper bag doing?
Give me that!
You're going in for pebble collecting, huh?
Pebbles?
Yeah, look at them.
Oh, they are pebbles. Yeah? What's happening to me? Oh.
I don't know. But I told you don't look well. Hey, where are you going? Hey, wait a minute. I told you that was a borrowed car.
Get off that running board! I say get off!
You're nuts, Johnny! You're nuts! You're crazy!
Well, there it is, Doc.
Uh-huh.
That's his story. I kept hearing what he said. Tom. Over and over again. I'm nuts. I'm crazy. But I couldn't stand it anymore. So I looked you up in the phone book and I come over.
Oh, what do you expect me to do, Lefty?
Do? You're a brain doc. I'm not nuts. I know I'm not. Why am I seeing these things? What's happening to me?
Well, it's rather difficult to make a diagnosis this quickly, but I'd say that you were suffering from hallucinations because of a sense of guilt.
Guilt? About what?
Well, it probably started with that first murder, Mrs. Tilson. And it's been preying on your mind ever since. Now, if you could extrovert that, get it out of your system.
But I did.
That's true, but not as a confession, with all the details. That's the only way you can achieve a complete catharsis.
Well, that's crazy.
All right. You wanted my advice, but you don't have to take it.
And you think... Okay, I did kill her. I knew all the time what I was doing. I waited for a night when there was only the two of us in the house, and then I beat her brains out with a tire iron. There, I said it, I told you.
Yes, Lefty. And I think that now I can promise you you'll never be troubled by hallucinations again.
You sure, Doc?
Quite sure.
That's good. Because... Remember I said that in half an hour I was going to kill someone?
Yes?
Well, the half hour is up. And you're the man.
Am I, Lefty?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Doc, but you know too much now. You're the only one who does. So...
I wouldn't, Lefty.
Why are you sitting there like that? I shot you.
Yes, Lefty, with blanks in your gun. All right, boy.
Take it easy, Lefty. We got you covered.
Miller. And Mason.
Did you get it?
Uh-huh. Every
Hey, what?
word.
You're cops.
No kidding.
Then the whole thing, letting me escape and everything that happened afterwards was just a trick.
That's right.
You wanted to show I wasn't nuts, get me to confess.
Smart boy.
We made just one mistake, Lefty. Or rather, Ruth did. Following you into the Tilson mansion. She paid for that with her life. But now you're going to pay.
No.
Shut up.
Yes, Lefty, for that and for the Tilson murder. And my only regret is that rats like you can only burn once.
Moving forward, the two grim-faced men take hold of Lefty O'Connor. And Lefty knows that he has come to the end of the road. A road that began when he first heard the clock in the old Tilson mansion strike 12 for...
Murder at midnight.
Remember to be with us again when death's face peers out of the darkened windows of deserted houses and the clocks strike 12 for...
Murder at midnight.
The part of Lefty O'Connor was played by Joseph Julian. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
turned and started to walk across the room, and as he turned, Martell moved. His face stayed dead, expressionless, but he moved. He picked up a heavy wrench, followed him, and then as Roy reached for the switch, he hit him. No! I heard his skull go like a rotten pumpkin shell, and he went down. Then Martell picked up a hacksaw and... No, I don't want to remember the rest. It was too awful, too horrible.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest. Our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in Terror Out of Space.
And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre. Our story, which we prophesy will be long remembered as a classic, is by Robert Newman. A tale out of the news and out of man's deepest fears called Terror Out of Space.
Larkin! Don! Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You've got to hear me. I haven't got much time. They'll be coming back in a few minutes and... Don! Try and get this. Try and remember.
I sat up in bed, straining my ears, listening. The surf was rolling and pounding on the beach at the foot of the cliff. One of the dynamos was purring away next door in the experimentation shack. And that was all. Had I really heard anything, or had I just imagined it, dreamed it? I didn't know. All I knew was that I was in a cold sweat, shivering even though it was a hot summer's night. But that wasn't surprising after what had happened. Just what had happened. Maybe I could get it all straight, fill in the gaps that had been bothering me if I went back over it again from the beginning. I hadn't wanted to before this. I'd fought against even thinking about it. But now it was as if something was making me think about it.
That's right, John. Start way back, in the beginning. Then maybe you will remember. You've got to.
When was the beginning? When they assigned me here, I guess, miles from anywhere on the Jersey coast. I knew it was some kind of hush-hush project, and I'd been in the Army long enough not to ask questions. I had some ideas, though, and when I walked into administration and found Professor Martell there, I was pretty sure they were right. Lieutenant Larkin reporting for duty, sir.
Hello, John. How are you?
Fine, Professor. Major.
Well, let's forget the Major. I've been trying to. I think the Army's a little sorry about the whole thing also.
Oh, that's not the way I heard it. Some of the things you've worked out in the last few years was something. Quite a break, my getting assigned here.
You think it was an accident?
You mean you requested me?
Of course. What did I take you away from, by the way?
Oh, nothing very much. Straight communications, a little radar.
No chance to continue any of the research you started when you were at the university, huh?
No. Afraid I've gotten rusty?
Not really. But there are just going to be the three of us to do the bulk of the work. You, myself, and a chap named Roy Shields. He worked with Ramsey at Tech.
And what's the project? Something big?
I think so. We're going to try and establish radio contact with the moon.
What?
Theoretically, it shouldn't be too difficult, you know.
Of course. And with the progress we've made during the war... Well, Professor, it's terrific. One of the most exciting things I've ever heard of.
Think so?
Well, don't you? Don't you remember when we used to talk about it in the lab? What it would mean to the astronomers, the astrophysicists, measurements that they've never even been able to take before?
Yes, John, I remember.
Well, then?
I don't know. Somehow it worries me.
How we're going to do it?
No, that's all cut and dried. What's going to happen when we do it?
Well, what do you mean?
We're reaching out, John. Reaching out into places where man has never been before. We're pretty close to the secret of matter, to the origin of life, and to the mystery of the universe. Sometimes I become a little afraid. Afraid that we may stumble on something that's too much for us, too big and... That's silly. Go pick out a bunk and get some rest, John. Tomorrow, we go to work.
The work? I remember that all right, weeks of it. And finally, the big night, the night we were ready for our first test. It was clear and cool, the ocean still, not thundering but whispering at the base of the cliffs, as if it were waiting. Every star separate and distinct, like signposts on the road to the infinite. Martell at the table in the center of the laboratory with the charts and diagrams doing the computing. Roy at the power controls, and I at the director.
Time?
23:02.
15 seconds. Power, 10.12.
Check.
You reading, John?
93 degrees.
Make it plus 0.2.
Check.
Time, 23:02:10.
Power on. 3 seconds. 4. Now.
How long to wait?
We should get it almost immediately. A lag of not more than... There, listen.
Huh? That's it! That's it! We've done it! We're in contact with the moon!
Yes, we'd done it. Reached out into space and done it. For the first time since man had walked erect, we had established contact with another heavenly body, bridged the infinite with man-made electrical impulses. There was no work done during the next 2 days, just excitement. Public relations broke the story the next morning, and we were swamped. Newspaper reporters, photographers, interviews, commentaries, prophecies. Finally, we got back to normal. And a couple of nights later... Yes, it's starting to come back to me now. I remember. It was the sound of the generators that woke me. I looked at my watch, almost midnight. Roy was asleep in his bunk, and I didn't wake him. I padded out along the duckboards to the laboratory. The lights were on. I went in, and there was Professor Martell. He was sitting at the control table, and he was funny. His eyes were open, but he didn't seem to see me. I said, "Hello, Professor." He didn't move. Didn't answer. I took a quick look at the control board, and the frequency had been changed. A little uneasy, I tried again. "Professor, what are you doing?" And then something very strange happened. Half of him came alive. His right side first. His right eye lighting up, while his left eye stayed dead. His right hand twitched, while his left one remained stiff. It was just for a fraction of a second. Then...
What? Oh. Hello, John.
Hello, Professor. Anything the matter?
Matter? What am I doing in here?
I don't know, sir. I heard the generators go on, and I came in and found you here.
Strange. Very strange. I went to bed about 10:30.
Ever walked in your sleep before?
No, not that I know of. Because I haven't been sleeping too well lately. Very disturbing dream. Did you change the transmitter frequency that way?
No, sir. You must have done it yourself in your sleep.
Funny. That would make it more of a carrier instead of a transmitter wave.
Shall I shift it back?
No, leave it. I'd like to take a look at it again in the morning. Do some thinking about it.
The next morning, somehow, neither of us mentioned it. I can't be sure now whether we didn't remember or just didn't think it was important. But that night... Yes, it was that night that we discovered what it meant. That we knew. It was the sound of the generators that woke me again. I looked at my watch a few minutes before midnight. And it was then that I noticed that Roy wasn't in his bunk. I lay there. And for some reason I was terrified, trembling. There was something in the air, a feeling of menace that... I made myself get up. Slipped on a pair of sneakers and went out along the duck walk to the laboratory. The lights were on again. I didn't go in this time, but I looked in the window. There was Roy, and there was Professor Martell again. He was sitting at the control table with that sane, dead look on his face. And Roy was standing in front of him, talking to him. I could hear him through the window.
What is it, sir? What's going on? Is anything the matter? Sleep. Walking in his sleep. I better get Larkin and... Oh, I can't leave the generator on, though. Gotta shut that off first.
He turned and started to walk across the room toward the master switch. And as he turned, Martell moved. His face stayed dead, expressionless, but he moved. He got up without a sound, took a heavy wrench from the work table, and followed Roy. And then, just as Roy put out his hand to throw the switch, he hit him. I heard his skull go like the shell of a rotten pumpkin, and he went down, dead. I couldn't move. I couldn't make a sound. I just stood there, frozen with horror. Martell looked down at him without batting an eye. And then, like a zombie, he walked over to the bench, picked up a hacksaw and went back. And then, bending over Roy's body, he started cutting off the top of his head.
A voice from the void, and the midnight waking. Memories, things best forgotten, coming back again. Memories of the terror that came out of space and of
Murder at midnight.
And now, back to Murder at Midnight and Terror Out of Space.
That's all I remembered then. When Professor Martell bent over Roy's body with a hacksaw in his hand, I must have fainted. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on the sand outside the shack, and there was Martell bending over me. No, Professor, no, don't!
Why,
Don't!
John, what's the matter?
Leave me alone. Don't come near me. Don't touch me. I saw what you did in there.
And where? When?
Just now in the shack to Roy.
Aren't you well either, John?
What do you mean?
I just came up here from the cartridge. I had a bad dream. I've been having quite a few of them lately, and I woke up with a very annoying headache. I came out to take a walk. It's a mare. I found you lying
But
here.
I'm telling you, I saw you. I saw you in there with Roy and...
And what?
Well, I don't even want to think about it. But you killed him.
Killed him? Huh. Let's go back to the bunkhouse, John. Take a look.
The bunkhouse?
Yes, when you see that Roy is where we should be, in bed, maybe it'll convince you that you either dreamed or imagined the whole thing.
He led the way to the bunkhouse, and I followed. Still shaken, but starting to feel a little foolish. This was the Professor Martell I had studied under, known for years, the man who wouldn't hurt a fly. We went into the bunkhouse, and Roy's bed was empty. He wasn't there. Martell gave me a funny look and started calling.
Roy! Roy, where are you? Roy!
Without a word, we hurried back to the laboratory, and there was no sign of him there either. Nothing. Wait, he must have gone out for a walk too, Professor, or maybe jeeped into town. If it was true, there'd be something here. His body, blood.
There, John.
Well, right there, in front of the switch. But there's nothing there.
No. Except that it looks as if this floor was just scrubbed.
The floor? What? You're right.
John.
Huh?
Did you change the transmitter frequency this way?
Oh, no, sir. You must have done it. Just the way you did last night.
Last night? You mean something happened last night, too?
You don't remember?
No. Tell me what you saw happen tonight. Everything you remember, whether you believe it now or not.
Well, it was pretty terrible, Professor. Sitting there. And then, as quietly as if he were a laboratory specimen, you took a hacksaw and started to cut off the top of his head.
Merciful heavens.
Talking to you now, I know the whole thing's mad, impossible, but...
Yes, mad impossible, but...
You mean it could have happened some way without your knowing it?
Sit down, John. Relax. Tell me what you know about the moon.
The moon is a satellite, stellar body, probably formed by our sun in an encounter with some other stellar body.
Yes, probably formed at the same time as the Earth. But it may very well have supported life long before there was life here.
Life? But we know what its atmosphere
Yes,
is.
we know what it is now. But how do we know what it was several million years ago? Just suppose, that there was life there millions of years ago. Life that reached a level of development we cannot even imagine. Suppose it died out as a form of life that we could recognize, but remained in a form that is eternal.
What What do you mean?
In the form of electrical energy. We know that thought is an electrical process. An electrocephalograph will give a definite reading when a man is thinking.
Yes.
Suppose intelligences continue to exist on the moon in the form of complex electric charges. And suppose a channel is suddenly opened between the moon and some other planet.
The beams we sent out are our radar beams. You mean they could come down the beam, take hold of someone, you, and make you...
I'm supposing, John, hypothesizing. But the fact is that the transmitter was set at carrier frequency, and none of us did it consciously. Of course, even if it's true, we have no way of knowing whether these entities are dangerous, malevolent, or not.
No way of knowing, but they killed. They made you kill Roy.
Because he was going to shut off the transmitter, cut off contact with the place they came from. As for the rest, well, they would be intensely curious about the human body, particularly the brain. They would want to examine it.
Good Lord, Professor, do you realize what you're saying? The taking over of a person's body?
Yes, John, I do realize what I'm saying. Well, I don't believe it myself. Have you a gun?
Why, yes. Yes, I never carry it.
Well, start carrying it. And if you notice me doing anything strange, incomprehensible, don't hesitate. Shoot.
I didn't sleep that night. I remember that now. And I was convinced that I would never sleep again. Because it was there then, the moon. It was there all the time, of course, day and night. But it was during the night, when I was asleep, that it would be easiest for them. That they might try and... No, I can't think about it. I won't even now. With the daylight, I felt a little better. Roy hasn't come back, but, well, there were a dozen possible explanations for that. I went to have another talk with Professor Martell. And he was gone, too. His bed was empty, as if it had never been slept in. I waited until about noon, then I called headquarters. I had decided that I was going to tell them only facts, things I could believe myself.
Hello?
Hello, Colonel. This is Larkin over at Radar Experimental.
Oh, yes, Larkin. How are you?
Pretty good, sir. I'd like to report that both Sergeant Shields and Major Martell are missing.
Huh? Missing? What do you mean?
I don't know, sir. They were both gone when I got up this morning.
AWOL, eh? Well, that's my fault. You men have been working awfully hard. Now, I meant to suggest that you take leaves. Why don't you go missing, too?
Oh, no, sir, I couldn't. Not right now.
Okay. And you carry on until they get back, and then I'll arrange for you to do it officially.
So I stayed there in the lonely shack on top of the cliff, alone. And that was the most awful, terrible week of my life. Only the wind, the pounding of the surf, and my fears that were with me constantly. There was work I had to do, but I had to force myself to go into the laboratory. Then, on Friday, they found Roy's body. A phone call took me to town to the local funeral parlor. When I got there, the colonel was waiting.
You knew Sergeant Shields pretty well, didn't you, Larkin?
Yes, sir.
Some fishermen found a body in their nets this morning. I wish you'd look at it.
Of course, sir.
Right here.
Oh, good Lord.
Evidently, the fish were pretty hungry.
Well, no one could be sure, sir, but I think that is Shields.
All right, Larkin. Thank you.
Yes, they found Roy's body. And that night, Martell came back. I'd taken something to make me sleep. It was the only way I could sleep. But the sound of the generators woke me again. I lay there listening, unbelieving but terrified because there was no one at the station but me. Then, picking up my gun, I went down the duck walk to the laboratory. I opened the door, and there he was, Professor Martell. His face was thin and haggard. His eyes were dead, lackluster, the way they'd been those other 2 nights. And when he spoke, his voice was hardly human, as if someone was using him, speaking through him.
Too bad that you woke up, Larkin. You should not have come in here.
What do you mean, Professor? Where have you been?
We have been looking over your planet, studying it. Very interesting. And now we are ready to go.
Go? Go where? What are you talking about? What are you said we. Professor Martell, have they...
Just a few preparations to make. And then...
The voice That horrible voice stopped, and Martell swayed as if he were going to fall.
I grabbed him, and he opened his eyes.
He was himself again. And when he spoke, it was with his own voice.
John, for heaven's sake, help me. Help me.
How, Professor, how?
Look, what I told you, don't you remember? Don't you understand? They've got me. They took me that night, took me all over the country, looking, examining, studying. They picked my brain. They sucked me dry. And now they're going to take me back with them.
Back with them?
Back to where they came from. Not my body, they're not interested in that, but the essential me, in heaven's name, shoot, John! Shoot and...
And now we are ready.
They had him again.
As your friend told you, we are taking him with us. But you will not remember. You will remember nothing. Do you understand? Because someday we may come back.
I stood there, frozen, still holding on to Martell. Like a sleepwalker with superhuman strength, he pushed me away. I staggered back against the wall. Stiffly and mechanically, he walked to the door, opened it, and went out. The surf was thundering, the wind blowing. Straight to the edge of the cliff he walked, and then went over. But before he fell, he seemed almost to hover for a moment, as if something in him was going not down, but up.
Now do you remember, John? Now do you remember? You've got to remember. You've got to. I tricked them, fooled them. That's how I was able to get through to you. But they'll be coming for me any minute. And down! You've got to do something. You've got to. It's true that you exist. And they've got me here. They may be coming back again for others. John, they're coming! They're coming! Do something! Do!
When I woke up about a half hour ago, I found this all written out on the pad I keep next to my bed. Written out in my own handwriting, but a little scrawled and jerky, as if my hand wasn't quite steady. Some of it I remember. Other parts, like Roy's murder, Professor Martell's suicide, I don't recall at all. Either I'm mad, completely mad, or... No, I can't think about it. I mustn't. Anyway, if I showed this to anyone, the world would think I'm mad. So now I'm going to burn it. Burn it up completely.
White and shaking, John Larkin tears the scrawled pages from his notebook, crumples them into an ashtray, and puts a match to them. And thus there disappears into ashes the only remaining evidence of the terror from out of space and of
Murder at midnight.
Remember to be with us again when death comes in some unknown form. And the clocks strike 12 for
Murder at midnight.
The part of John Larkin was played by George Petrie, and Peter Capell was Professor Martell. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.